Hi everyone, good morning. Okay, so I woke up this morning from a dream that I'm still trying to decompress and de-stress from. So any of you that have dreams and sometimes you're like, okay, wait, was that real? Wait, am I here? Am I like alive in my bed right now? What just happened here? It's one of those things of like where you're still trying to go, okay, everything that I saw, every emotion that I felt in that, like my physical body is feeling it. So I'm going to try to just speak clearly. I hope that you hear my heart when I say this, and I'm just going to tell you specifically what I saw, but then also tell you the solution that I saw in it as well. Because I think too, one of the things that we have to realize is if we're getting these dreams and these downloads and we're being able to see behind the curtain and behind the veil, there's a reason for that. Why are you being shown what you're being shown? And are you seeing a solution in it? So we can talk about all the problems all day long, but if we're not bringing solutions to the table that bring life, then we're kind of creating the problem as well. We're adding to it. We're adding to the stress and the chaos that comes in that thing. And so that's not what we want to be. We want to bring peace and hope in the middle of the chaos, because there are solutions from above that we can be given. And it comes from getting into this place right here, and oftentimes having to get in or out of the logical part of our mind. So, okay, I'm just going to go into the dream. It was another dream about Justin Trudeau and what's going on in Canada, and kind of I was taken over the situation. So in the whole dream, like I'm looking down and watching all of these things happen. And in that, anytime I have a dream where I'm taken above, it's like, let me take you above the emotions. Let me take you above your perception. Let me take you above the reality in which you are seeing. And let me show you from a different viewpoint, a different vantage point, a different perspective. And so as I was watching him trying to make decisions, and there was this group of people in the whole dream, like where I could see in both rooms, that were prodding him, provoking him, giving him a narrative, giving him these cards. You're going to walk out and this is what you're going to say. And in that, he had a choice to make, and was being pulled back and forth, like very off balance in it, of which way am I going to go? So when I speak to you guys about really praying for him, we cannot get into agreement with the like speaking hate over him. It doesn't matter what our physical eyes see in it. We have to see with the spiritual eyes. And so when we see with the spiritual eyes, and like the Lord showed me there, like there's light in there. There is a place in there, but he has to want to be set free. He has to want to break free from that controlled opposition, that thing that he's being used basically as the spokesperson for it, when all these people back here in the shadows are really the ones that are telling, and it's not just him. There's leaders all over the world and all of the nations that are doing this and operating in this way. But we see just the spokesperson for that. And so then we go after that person, and we stop fighting the enemy that's in the shadow, and we start fighting that person that's up there. And so we've got to know, what are we actually battling against? In a spiritual war, you have to know what you're battling. In a spiritual war, you have to know what you're battling. All right, so as I saw these people behind the scenes, there was this female that came in and tried to talk to him. And what she symbolized and represented, it was this mother, I love you so much. Let me show you something. Let me show you something that you can't see, because you're so caught up in this and you're so entangled and entwined in all of this that you can't clearly see. And she was loving on him, and she was trying to speak to him. And in it, he would begin to listen, but then he would be pulled back into this thing, and he would begin to listen to her, and then he would almost stiff arm her. And so I'm praying for, if that is a literal person, for that person to be able to really speak into him and help those peepers be pulled wide open to see what's going on. Okay, as this scenario was kind of going on the whole time, I was watching, I would go back between him and then this room where these men were sitting around this table. Now, I want to describe the scene to you, this table, because these men were sitting, it was like around a really dark, almost black table. And they were dressed in all black. So that symbolized darkness for me, because I could barely see into the room. There was no light in this room at all. And so I knew that they were operating in darkness. I'll just use that analogy and everything that encompasses. And as they were putting out this narrative and making their plans, it was like they were so happy. And I'm going, how can you be so happy when you're operating in such, like, there's no light? Where's the joy? But what they were doing was finding their joy in harming others and provoking others to anger to do their bidding for them. And I was watching this, and my heart began to have compassion and break for them, because I'm like, you don't know what it's like to have light and love and joy and peace, because you're making your own death and destruction and hurting others to bring that to you. And when you realize that that's not how it works, and those things are not going to be good for you in the end, because we all reap what we sow. At some point, you're going to reap what you sow. And I kept thinking, oh my gosh, I feel compassion for you. And so as I was watching that, I then began in my flesh, in my body, to get really mad and angry, because what they were talking about was two different things. One was they were making a plan to use this trucker movement, this convoy movement. They were like, keep provoking them, keep making them angry, keep letting these the two sides fight, because then if they shut down the economy, we're going to blame it all on them and they won't see what we did. And I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. That's not okay. And I kept trying to yell that to them, like, no, but they couldn't hear me, because there was such a space between where I was viewing this and where they were. It just felt muffled, and as loud as I yelled at them, they couldn't hear anything that I was saying. And that also speaks to me about when you're sitting in that place and you can't see or hear, that it doesn't matter how loud someone's screaming or someone's putting something in your face, because you're going to interpret it however you choose to interpret it, based on the perception that you are operating in, or the reality that you're operating in. And so that was the first thing. And then the second thing was I saw this paper that said war. It was written really big on it, just in big red letters, war. It was a white piece of paper with war almost in blood in it. And I kept going, you're no, wait, y'all trying to start that? No. And so I'm going back and forth, and I'm asking questions in my dream until I could get a deeper revelation. Then I would zoom in closer and closer to it. And it was if they were not necessarily provoking a civil war with guns and people shooting at each other that we've had previous times in our nation's history, but it was an ideological war. It was a tug of war. It was opposing sides, this, what we call right now, this left and this right, and you're just tugging each other back and forth. And when you're tugging each other back and forth, you are totally oblivious to what's going on over here, because you're so focused on this thing that you think that you're supposed to be warring right here. And these aren't the people you're warring against. It's this. This is what I mean by you have to know your enemy in a spiritual war. And when that enemy makes you believe that these people that are tugging back and forth are your enemy, they've done their job well. They've done a really good job with that. But see, our eyes are being opened right now to see what's lurking back here. We have to put the rope down and stop fighting these people. And as they were talking about this war and laughing about it and what they had done, and this left and this right, and continuing to keep this going on, it was like this huge game. And how many points were they going to get from this specific move? And I kept going, wow, how are you operating in that? But see, it's really sad to me, because there are people that operate like that, who believe that their power and their control and their manipulation and their money is a game, and it feeds them to hurt others. We're not doing that. So what is the solution in that? How do we step forward past this place and have a solution to not allow that thing to go on? Now, I don't believe that this trucker movement has to be used in the way that I saw them planning to use it, because there's, we keep talking about there's a collapse that's coming. There are things that have to kind of destruct in order to be rebuilt and replanted. Now, this is when we talk about a kingdom reset versus a great reset. These people who want this complete collapse to cause calamity, to cause fear, uncertainty, doubt, people to think that they've lost everything that they've worked their entire lives for. They want that great reset to do that, because then their solution is to come in and say, hey, take what I got right here. Now, it might enslave you a little bit more, but I got a solution for you, because you're going to take this and all of these problems that you think that you have right now, like I'm gonna give you something. But then people didn't realize that in giving that something that they're taking out of the hand is that it's enslaving them more. It is Big Brother watching over you. It's with a flip of a switch that everything about your life can be turned off. So you're being controlled just in a different way. You're being enslaved in a different way. Now you got this great reset over here that's going, now hang on a minute. I know that some of these things need to collapse in order to be rebuilt. But see, my switch is going to be one that's not going to collapse the whole thing at one time, but there's going to be a period where we can move this one to this one and transition without the death and destruction and the pain and the hurt. It might be uncomfortable, but we have prepared a plan that will lift you up during that time, that there will be a time period of where you can switch out into the new currency, where you don't have to lose all of your retirement. We're going to have a switcheroo. I don't know what to say. It's just like a switch over where it transitions over instead of completely taking all of it from you and getting people in fear before they can come in and be the solution. And this other reset, the kingdom reset, has a solution that I just have to say, it offers peace in it. It offers love in it. It offers joy in it. And I don't know other words to describe that, because at the root of each one of those words is where you find like your connectivity. It's where you find where you can be the conduit in the middle of someone else's trial, where you can connect with them and be a conduit to bring love, peace, and joy into them. And so as I was watching these men at this table, I kept saying, you're not going to do that reset. You're not going to do that reset that way. You're not going to blame it on the people that are fighting for something in love right now and turn it and use it for bad, because we know that all things that are meant for bad can be used for good. And that is what I saw. And it was like we had to be smart to not fall into their trap, to not play into their hand. And then there's this other thing about, right now, some of the banks are seizing funds in Canada, and it was almost as if they were provoking people to go withdraw all of their money. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have your cash or your money or anything like that, but when they did that, they were like, well, see, they all ran to the bank, and it caused us to not have any more cash. So if they wouldn't have done that, it's changing the narrative to put a blame on something when they're not the ones that are to blame, because there's been a plan in place for a very long time to cause some of these things. Someone sent me a card the other day from an actual game set. I'm not going to use the name of the game set because I don't want to get blocked on here. But this game set actually had a card in it that had a trucker convoy, and it was part of their game. So once we play this card, we'll receive so many points, and then we'll use this card in order to then bring in this card. And if you know what I'm talking about, you can see that those things were set up in advance. Now, can the convoy be done in love? Absolutely. And what I'm saying, I call it the love train. It's like people are jumping on this love train. And this love train is contagious. People are fighting with conviction. They're looking at this going, I have to stand up. I have to do something. And there's a way to peacefully war. And then there's a way that you can't get yourself trapped into their game and their plan and their scheme so that you are the one to blame for it. So we have to be very smart, very wise in it. And I feel like this was part of the dream last night, because as I zoomed out and saw those two plans taking place, one was to blame this convoy and these truckers all over the world, because you've even got convoys in Israel right now. You've got the one planning for the U.S. You've got the one going on in Canada. There's a couple of other nations that people have sent me videos from where this is going on, because it's contagious, but it's the spirit behind it that is contagious. It's the love, the standing up, the unity and oneness. Let's fight this thing, because see, what's happening is, you have an inheritance on the land. We were all created equal by our Creator. And people are rising up all over the world to say, you're not taking my inheritance from me. I am a pathfinder, I am a solutionizer, and I'm going to seek wisdom from above. I'm not going to play into your hands, and I'm going to speak and declare goodness and wisdom and peace and love and joy and forgiveness out all of those who are operating in a very dark, deceptive place. Those who are causing harm, I'm not getting into agreement with your harm. I'm going to stand up against your harm and your death and destruction. But I'm also going to speak a releasing of the powers that are holding you in bondage in the power of Christ. Because the power of Christ, it will release those chains, but they have to want to be released. It's a free will choice and a free will decision. And people who are stepping into that place where they're unbalanced right now and they have to make a decision. Am I going to continue on this path, or am I going to take the other path that leads to life? If they continue down this path, those places that they're operating will eventually be stripped from them, and other leaders will be put into their place. It's just how it works from a spiritual and a physical standpoint. So as I saw that, I saw schemes, plans, dark hearts, people who are not operating from here. I also saw really good people falling into the trap. And the solution was this. So I've spoken about, or I've typed this dream out before, but I've never really spoke it out. This was the solution. So it was a same scenario where I was watching from above, being able to look down, and I saw this left and the right. It's this tug of war going on. And as I zoomed in closer, there were razor blades that were on the rope. And as each person from the left and the right tugged, it created their hands, they were completely demolished. They were bleeding, they were nicked, they were those razor blades were just, it was chaos everywhere. And as that blood dripped, the people who, what I would say are like bloodsuckers, they came in and they were just like, this sounds probably gross, but they were eating up and licking up that blood because it was feeding them. And I kept going, y'all stop, put the rope down, you've got to put the rope down. You're feeding the enemy. And the people were so caught up in their emotions and so caught up in the things that they thought that they could see, that they couldn't see this enemy because they were so laser focused on the person that they were tugging that rope with. And that's what's going on right now. We are so laser focused on fighting a fake enemy that no one can see the common enemy that's behind them, that's causing these two to fight. This left and this right side that are fighting, you have more in common than you know. You have more in common than you know, and it's time for us to look and see, where are we unified? Where is the commonality? Let's sit down at the table together and let's find a way to stop fighting each other, and all of our focus goes to fight that enemy behind us. It's how we move forward. It's how we have a solution. The economy doesn't have to collapse in this way that destroys everything that you've ever worked for and takes your inheritance from you. Nations don't have to completely collapse in order, I'm trying to think how I want to say that. They don't have to, it was just what I was shown, that they don't have to completely collapse, but goodness and good leadership can be put in that place so it doesn't have a complete empire collapse or an invasion from something else. Remember, it was like the dream I had that I shared on here the other day about the invasion from this other nation that came, but instead the people chose the invasion from heaven, which was the wisdom and the knowledge, the understanding, the peace that surpasses all understanding. When we don't understand something in our physical, where we can step with our spiritual eyes and go, okay, I may not understand in my physical, but I'm seeing a way out of this and I'm seeing the solutions. Because where are the solutionizers right now? Where are the people that are talking about the solutions? I see a lot of people griping and complaining and yelling and screaming and fighting and tugging and all of that stuff. Okay, if that's where you are right now, but we've got to step away from that. Feel the emotion, understand why you're feeling what you're feeling, and then step into a place of the solution. Okay, now I have felt that. Now I've seen that. Maybe I was fooled. Maybe I was tricked. Okay, I'm ready to walk forward and I'm ready to see more. And then find the solution. Because the Lord is raising up people right now in this hour who have the solutions. They see what's going on and they have extreme, amazing wisdom right now to move us forward in a place of a kingdom reset. It's the only thing I'm in alignment with is a kingdom reset. It's the only thing I see is a kingdom reset, but I'm not going to be blinded by the plans and the schemes that are going on, because every plan and scheme that I see, I want to find the solution to that plan and scheme. I'm not going to get in alignment with it. I might get a little ticked in my flesh, but when my spiritual eyes and the hearts of my understanding open the eyes of my heart, they're right here. And when you get in this place, I cannot say this enough, anything can be used for negative or good, but when you're operating from here, when you rise above to have a different view, a different perspective, it's different. That's how you find the solutions. It's how you hear with wisdom. When we're human, so we have emotions and we have feelings, and it's not that we're supposed to downplay those. But after we've had those extreme feelings and those extreme emotions, and we sit with those and go, okay, now what's the root of that? Why did I completely feel that way? Why am I so convicted right now? And then you center yourself and you get back into this place. You're going, okay, That triggered me. I see something that's not right here. I feel something's not right here. So now show me the solution and the wisdom to walk forward in it. So I just want to leave you with this. I want to ask you to continue to pray for Trudeau, that he would be completely broken and set free from the powers that are binding him right now, spiritually and physically. I want to pray that the convoys would have no blame put on them, and that they would see with full eyes walking forward the trap or the trick that might be being laid out for them. And then I want to pray that people would stop warring with each other, and that this tug of war, put the rope down. Put the rope down. Can you put the rope down? Can you pray for him? Can you see that all things that start in love and with the power of love, that is how you counteract the dark. How do you counteract anything with its opposite? Something's in dark, we're going to counteract it with light. Operating in hate, we're going to counteract it in love. All right, so I just want to leave you with that today. I hope that you hear my heart, and I'm praying over all of this that truth will prevail, because all things hidden in dark, we're in the season, all things that are hidden in dark will become to the light. It doesn't matter what it is. Everything is coming forward. All right, you guys have a very blessed day, and I'm just praying and speaking peace and declaring that out over all of you too. Okay, bye.